Oh baby, things are about to pick up. What is shaking YouTube? This is your host, Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and welcome back to another Hot 10 Comics of the Week breakdown. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, you've been missing out, but regardless, we're here for one of the funnest videos that I put out every week. We take a look at the hottest comics according to the Key Collector app, and I break them down for you guys, letting you know which books I'm buying at which prices and which I'm staying away from. But before we get started in the video, like always, I remind you guys, if you're not a current sub of the channel, you're missing out. Hit that sub button, do me a solid, smash the like button as usual. I always have merch available for purchase. Just check the links in the description of this video. With that said, let's get into this week's breakdown. Starting off the list at number 10 this week is a copy of Strange Adventures number 205 and the first appearance and origin of Deadman. And last week we had a CGC 7.5 sell for a whopping $1,100, up a crazy 32% over the average. Then we had a CGC 5.5 sale of only $400, up another 9% over the average. I've talked about this book before when it's been on the list. I know a lot of people out there who want to own the first appearance of Deadman. I don't think you need to go out and get a super high grade copy of this one, but if you want to go out and add this to the collection, I'm saying mid to fine grade, and that's the copy I'd be a buyer of. At the 9th spot this week is the hottest comic book alive, and I am shocked it's taken this long for it to come on this list. It is a copy of Batman number 227 in this iconic cover by the late great Neil Adams, inspired by Detective Comics number 31. And last week we had a CGC 9.0 sold for an insane $3,550, up 16% over that average. Then we had a mid-grade 6.0 sell for only $674, up 4% over the average. So why do I say that this is the hottest comic book on the market? Every time I'm on a live sale, every time this book comes up for sale on a consignment page, it is gone within seconds. Yes, I want to own this book. Just pick out the grade that you want to own for the long term and add it to your collection. Back on the list at number 8 this week is a copy of Deadpool Merc with a Mouth number 7 and the first appearance of Lady Deadpool. We all know the spec that's out there right now that Lady Deadpool is going to be portrayed as Blake Lively and Deadpool and Wolverine. Remains to be seen, but we all know she's 100% in the movie. Last week we had a CGC 9.8 sold for $450, up another 36% over that average. You guys know I've been saying over the past month, I am not buying this book right here. In fact, I think you should be selling this one because we all know she's going to appear in this movie. Who knows there's going to be another one? Who knows if there's going to be another Deadpool movie or not? Either way, I'm a seller of this book, not a buyer right now. Climbing a few spots to number 7 this week is a copy of Conan the Barbarian number 1 and the first appearance of you-know-who, Conan the Barbarian. And last week we had an insane CGC 9.6, a super high grade copy of this one, sold for a crazy $3,605, up another 13% over that average. Then we had a very fine CGC 7.0 sale of only $400, up another 6% over the average. I've been saying this for the better part of a couple of years. This book has been on and off the list. I do want to own this book, and I think for $400 for a 7.0 is definitely the sweet spot. I don't think you need to spend $3,000 on a 9.6. Regardless, a must-own book that's still undervalued, in my opinion, in mid to fine grade. Speaking of undervalued, at the 6th spot this week is a copy of Iron Fist number 14 and the first appearance of Sabretooth. And yes, we had another CGC 9.2 sell for $811, up 17% over that average. Then we had a CGC 8.0 sale of a crazy $440, up 10% over the average. Why do I think that price is crazy? Because how could this book in that grade sell for only $400 and change? To me, it is still undervalued in that fine range, the very fine range, and I'm a buyer of it all day long at that price point. Dropping all the way to number 5 this week is a copy of New Mutants 98 and the first appearance of Deadpool, the Merc with the Mouth. And last week we had a CGC 9.8 newsstand copy sell for $2,650, up 3% over the average. You guys know this, I only want to own this book in a 9.8, possibly even a 9.9. I'm not a huge fan of newsstand issues, but if you are, go ahead, buy this book. For me, I just cannot spend this kind of money on this one. When this book in a direct edition gets under $1,000, after this movie comes out, it'll settle down and we'll see what the true value of this one is. Heading to the Bronze Age at number 4 is a copy of Giant Size X-Men number 1, and the first appearance of the new X-Men team, and the second overall appearance of Wolverine. And last week we had a CGC 9.6, so for a whopping $11,300, up another 15% over that average. Then we had a mid-grade 6.0 sell for only $2,175, up 9% over the average. I've been saying it for the better part of a year. If you want to own this book, it's got to be for the long term. I'm talking anywhere for 15 to 20 years, because I just believe there's going to be a lot of fluctuation over that time frame. But if you're willing to do that, yes, go ahead and secure a copy, add it to the collection. I do think down the line it will be worth it. Coming in at number 3 is the book that is synonymous with the Hot 10 Comics of the Week breakdown. You guessed it, it is a copy of Wolverine number 1 and this classic cover by the great Frank Miller. And last week we had yet another CGC 9.8, sold for $650, but flat against the average. Then we had a CGC 9.4 sale of only $210, up another 9% over the average. Ditto to what I've been saying for the past 3 years. If you want to own the book, I want to spend anywhere from $150 to $200 max just to own this book. Anything over that, I think it's a little bit too much to spend for a book with a ton of copies out there. Climbing all the way to number 2 this week from the 9 spot last week is a copy of Hulk number 1 and the first cover appearance of the Red Hulk General Thunderbolt Ross. And we had a CGC 9.8, sold for $390, up a crazy 51% over the average. What does that tell you? This book is super hot right now and we should not be buying it. We should be doing the opposite. Go ahead and sell your copy if you're not married to it for the long term. I have a feeling once this movie comes out featuring the Red Hulk, that this book is going to drop right back down. So to each his own, but if it was me, I'd be selling. And finally, at the top spot, a new number 1, and back on the list after some time, it is a copy of Batman Adventures number 12 and the first comic book appearance of Harley Quinn. Last week, we had a CGC 9.6, sold for $1,039, but up 20% over the average. You guys know I'm only a buyer of this book in a 9.8. I want to spend under $3,000 to do so, and I haven't checked on the price at a 9.8 in quite a while. But again, if you're a big Harley Quinn fan, this is a must-own book in my opinion. I am not. That's why I'm holding off right here. I do believe we are getting that full trailer for Joker 2 any second now. So with that said, don't go out and overspend on this book. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's list. Some new books on the list, and of course the same 2 that are there week to week. Regardless, it is now time for my best buy of the week, and I'm sticking with Iron Fist number 14 and the first appearance of Sabretooth. You can get a super high-grade copy of this one for around $400. I think that is worth it. It beats the likes of Giant Size X-Men 1 only for the fact that there are a lot of them out there as well, but the dollar value adds to something else with that book. Right here, we're talking about value, and that's why I picked Iron Fist number 14. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.